I'm all like this, as I declare you so, now be small matter they sup since the tribunal judgment. He get one matter with a trend since for all over the social media's lifestyle since yesterday. So normally I make a break them down for those of them who they follow the updates since they come. So when I don't say after they give the judgment on Wednesday, for the judge during the judgment, first of all, the judges promise say the following day say they will send the certified true copies of the judgment, give all the petitioners, so that they go use it and to go file their appeal for the Supreme Court. So the next day reach now, they're not going to give them the document. The following day see pass, they're not going to give them the CTC. And you know, say they get after that tribunal judgment for the appeal court, they get ultimatum of 14 days to file their appeal for the Supreme Court. Many people don't complain since they ask the tribunal judges say, Alpha, why are they delay to give them this, to bring this CTC, give these people? So after all the much talk and everything, yesterday evening now, they can finally give the CTC to all the petitioners. That's Labour Party and PDP. Now something happened yesterday, and when they bring for inside the judgment, the copy of the judgment when they send go Labour Party. For the paper there, for on top, they see say the right Tinubu presidential legal team. So yesterday, we tried for Twitter yesterday, even till this morning. When they got the trend and say, why tribunal judgment when they read for live broadcast, everything, would they see say the copy owner saying give Labour Party now? Would they see Tinubu presidential legal team on top? Abi na Tinubu presidential legal team now write the judgment. When I call read, give everybody. So now this evening now, so when they get new update now, the breaking news on I say Atiku office now, they don't write go appeal court. Say appeal court come explain waiting that Tinubu presidential legal team mean waiting on top the judgment. That's to say, it come like say not be only the copy where they give Labour Party now get that watermark. So come like say even the one they say go give PDP, it gets the same thing. So come like say so kind of foul play there, because the insinuation now is that say why Tinubu presidential legal team logo go there on top of appeal court judgment where they read give all parties. You understand? But meanwhile, make I read the news given now according to the People's Gazette. You listen. He say, after causing needless delay in availing the PDP candidate Atiku Abubakar and his legal team certified true copies of its judgments, the Presidential Election Petition Court must explain to Nigerians and the world ambiguity around why copies of the judgment bear the header of the presidential of the Tinubu presidential legal team. It is not our intention to stir up controversy on the matter, but it is very important that the PEPC should tell Nigerians why they chose to affix the header of the respondents on the CTC of their judgment, whereas the copies that went to the petitioners did not have the same copy. The same, rather. Was that because the Tinubu presidential legal team is deemed to be accorded special privileges? The court must explain. It is very clear that there are many questions begging for answers, including why the PEPC came to the decision to avail the respondents, especially the Tinubu legal team, to have a first receipt of the CTC of the judgment before the plaintiffs. The curiosity is more confounding based on the fact that the lead counsel Atiku and the PDP had pleaded in the open court to have expressed receipt of the judgment, to which Justice Haruna Samani agreed and promised to make documents available the following day, which was Thursday. Nigerians want to know why the PEPC confers special privileges to the Tinubu legal team by giving them first custody of copies of the PEPC judgment, even though it was more urgent for the petitioners who needed the document in order to cause an appeal to the Supreme Court within 14 days, including weekends. However, unfolding developments after the court's ruling elicit suspicions about whether or not the Tinubu legal team provided clerical services to the PEPC. Otherwise, how and when did the tribunal, how and when did the Tinubu presidential legal team creep into a document that was supposed to be official document of the Court of Appeal of Nigeria? We need to restate that the Tinubu presidential legal team on the top left-hand corner of all the 798 pages is neither a monochrome nor a metadata. It is usually a header, meaning that except for a valid explanation, the Tinubu presidential legal team is the originator of the document. For the purpose of clarity, a header is a text that is placed at the top of a page, while a footer is placed at the bottom of a page. Typically, these areas are used for inserting information such as the name of the document, the chapter heading, page numbers, creation date, and the like. On the other hand, watermark is a faint design made in some paper during manufacture that is visible when held against the light and typically identifies the maker of the document. The PEPC must, on its honor, if indeed it still has any, clarify why the court chose to put the header of the Tinubu legal team on a CTC copy of its judgment document, while the only emblem that should have been on the document is the stamp of the Court of Appeal of Nigeria. Again, the PPC must explain why it came to the discretionary decision of having the respondents having custody of the judgment earlier on the day, on Friday, while only making the same available to the petitioners later in the day, and only after the lead counsel to Atiku and the PDP had written a second letter. The first was on Thursday to the court demanding for copies of the judgment. Moreover, we have it on good authority that when the PEPC was informed that the CTC copies of the judgment given to the respondents were already circulating in the public domain with the header of the Tinubu presidential legal team on it, a further delay was necessitated by the need for it to undertake a laundry of the documents by removing the Tinubu presidential legal team header before handing over same to the lawyers of Atiku. Whereas the legal team of the PDP and Atiku has statutory 14 days to prepare its appeal to the Supreme Court. The PEPC had erased two days out of the 14 days. No thanks to the PEPC, whose chairman, Justice Samani, had promised to make available the CTC copy of the judgment to Atiku a day after its judgment was rendered, which ought to have been on Thursday. Nigerians and the world are earnestly waiting for answers to these posers as the legal challenge shifts to the Supreme Court. Otherwise, it will validate suspicions that there were external factors involved in formulation of the judgment and bring the entire judiciary of Nigeria into disrepute. Make no mistake about it, this legal challenge to the electoral banditry of February 25, which has now shifted to the apex court, is not about Atiku. It is indeed our last-ditch effort to salvage our country and deepen our democracy against the background of decimation of nearly all of the institutions of the state, including the Independent National Electoral Commission, which dragged us into this quagmire. Our intent is to ensure that the judiciary, the last hope of the common man, does not go to the dogs. Bakam wahala would fall for this matter. So they want to know why Tinubu presidential legal team logo dey on top of judgment where appeal court render. Secondly, they want to find out, okay, now you want to bring judgment. How come you first send the copy of the judgment go give Tinubu presidential legal team? Where we say those ones they never to need them. People we say they get 14-day ultimatum to take fight their appeal from Supreme Court. You dey delay them. And then the issues that they on ground with that was make a clear on based on updates chairman what be. Anyway, just thank God for everything.